Here's a little side track here on the old radio shop. We're delving into a transistor radio, a Golden Shield 9 transistor AM only transistor radio. Now this one came in a little leather case, which is in pretty good shape. I'll show that to you after a while. But I opened up the back and somebody had left the batteries in, and the battery holder, it takes 4 pinlight batteries, otherwise known as AA's. The battery holder was totally shot, so I cut it out, and I'm going to add a different one, which is the same type. But as you can see, the battery juice leaked onto the traces, onto the circuit board. Too much computers in my life. Onto the circuit board. So these traces could be toast. I may just go ahead and put a piece of wire between here, there, and everywhere so that we can test, because it may not work, because that may be so corroded that the traces are broke. I can put a meter on it and check. Also up here where the earphone plugs in up here, it had leaked on that. So probably the audio connection won't make a connection. I'm going to have to pull that out, see if I can clean it off. If not, I will just hardwire it and it won't have an earphone. But we're going to clean this up and see what happens and go from there. This is something I usually don't do, but I found these several little transistor radios at the Goodwill for $2 a piece. And this is the Golden Shield, which I believe was made in Japan for Sylvania. Is who made Golden Shield. But this is a nice looking little transistor because it's been in a little leather case. But unfortunately, somebody left the batteries in it and it corroded. The other thing is the little dial indicator window fell out, but I do have it. I can glue it back in. But it was loose in the case. So we're going to take a quick detour from tube radios to a small transistor portable and see what we can find out here on this episode of the Radio Shop. I did put the meter on the traces on this Golden Shield radio, and this one, which supplies the main negative from the battery, is completely corroded out. And I'm going to go ahead and place, even though these were good, I'm going to go ahead and place replacement little wire in there so that we can have some good connectivity in it and not worry about the greenness, not worry about it corroding in half. That way we can jump ahead of the corrosion and move along. So I'm not going to apply any power since I checked with the meter, and the main negative wire, which comes in here off the battery, feeds this trace over to here. It's not good. This trace has corroded through somewhere under this nice greenness. And I need to check this trace back here because I just noticed it is corroded as well. And then there's the headphone jack that's turned completely blue from its corrosion. Carrying on. So I have replaced, or actually bridged, the gaps, or the potential gaps in the corroded traces here with some wire. This is single strand solid wire. This wire actually came out of a printer cable, and it's pretty close to the color of the circuit board, so it just kind of blends in. And I'm going to do a power test here in a minute, now that I know we have continuity from here to there, because that was the first one that was broken, and we'll go from there. So I did an initial power up and got silence, which I figure is that corroded jack back there causing my silence. I'm going to bypass that for now and hook directly to the speaker and see what we get. So the corrosion, the ground wire to the jack, the ground wire for the audio just fell completely off, and it broke off both sides of the speaker. It broke off this side of the speaker and the jack. There was a wire between here and here that just came right off, so I'm going to put a new one there, and then I'm just going to bypass this for now and bypass the whole shebang and go from there. Shebang. Alright. So I bypassed that jack, hooked me up some new speakers. It's new speaker wires, not new speakers.
Coming up, but for fingers, it was the Johnny Drum.
And she's working. I temporarily bypassed that jack. So I may see if I can find a new one for it.
Building or remodeling a home, one of the best and most cost-efficient things you can do to your home or business is to have proper insulation.
Insulation Services and Tulsa are the experts when it comes to spray foam, batting, or flow-in insulation.
So the battery had corroded a lot. It had a holder like this, minus it didn't have the 9-volt type clips on it, but it had a battery holder like this, and it was just totally a solid mass of battery acid and crud, and I'm surprised that this wasn't worse than what it actually is. So here was the little leather case that came in. Even had an earphone pouch, but it did not have the earphone with it. But the leather case is in pretty good condition. There's one spot on it that's kind of come unsewed. Let's see if I can fix that up. Not much of a transistor collector, but I do like little transistor radios. This will be my first transistor fix that I have actually fixed. Wasn't much wrong with it other than the corroded traces there, and there was the negative power cable to the battery was bad too, and I had to put a new one on. And then of course the speaker wires were bad, and the headphone jack there is bad. But that's it working. I'm not sure what it's picking up because the dial scale is actually on the case.
14 years ago. None of the parties to the negotiations would discuss the matter publicly on Sunday.
But this side of the board is really clean.
Record-breaking COVID cases are being documented in recent days. Some hospitals are reporting smaller.
So we left out there that the battery didn't get into this side or corrode off any of the transistor leads or any other leads. But I just thought it would be better to go ahead and bypass the traces that were already corroded. So in case they corroded more in the future, that they wouldn't cause an issue once the radio is put back in its case.
And our allies there, I mean, there are credible reports now. In fact, they've been in, they've been in the New York Times, they've been in the Washington Post, been in the Wall Street Journal, verifying that the Taliban is doing just what many of us predicted would happen. They're going around and they're killing those people that matter. And you really does.
Yeah. Just visualizing the scene there. You're painting a picture with words.
10 a.m. till 5 the next morning. James, you're a good friend. Thank you very much for being on.
So there it is.
For all of the spectacular
Golden Shield AM
AM
only transistor radio. Most likely from the 60s. I'm not sure exactly what year it is. But it had some crud because the batteries had leaked in it. I gotta remember to take the batteries out of this. This is mine. I left the earpiece jack in. I left it bypassed because I'm never going to use it with an earpiece. If I intend to sell it, I will take the jack out. Also, I have to work on my battery holder because it's a little bit big. I'm going to have to get me a small one. If I go to sell it, I will change it to make it work with an earphone. But this is a 9 transistor Golden Shield by Sylvania, because I have another one that was a Golden Shield and it's by Sylvania, but this was made in Japan. This is made in Japan transistor radio. And that's just a quick look at a transistor radio repair here on the radio shop. It's a little break from the other stuff we do, which is normally tube amps, tube radios. But we do a little bit of this. This was one of mine. I just thought I would do it. I thought it might be easy. It was fairly easy. It did have some issues, but it does work, and it does work good now. We'll see you next time.